He was OP as hell that he bitch slapped the Winter Soldier with his own arm. Like,
that is right. That is right. He did.
Like he took his own arm off and then slapped him. Like, no, come back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everyone, Jenna Mike here. We're back with another video. Today we're going to be breaking down spoiler-filled review of Marvel's Thunderbolts Asterix. Again, Asterix, it's a spoiler review. So now we can reveal what the Asterix is. It's for the new Avengers. That's freaking stupid. Anyway, but after that, yeah, Jake, what was just?
I mean, hey, look. Even the movie thought it was stupid. You saw how the credits were playing,
which I thought was so perfect. Is like, because think about it, you're thinking what the audience is thinking, also some what the characters are thinking, and then at the same time you're playing that, and then before you get into the end credit scene or the second one, there was a time jump. Like all this time, like they've been the new Avengers for over a year. 14 months.
Like a year and 2 months. Enough time to establish themselves and enough time to have beef with another Marvel character. But we'll get there. We got a lot to talk about with this film.
And their costume looks fucking stupid. But I think that's the point.
Not
except
Bucky's,
for Winter Soldier.
Except for Winter Soldier. Bucky's, I love how they brought in his current day outfit into this film. It looked great. But the rest of them,
right. I mean, and like the wigs they just put on, the 2 weeks before, but yeah, it's like, but yeah, him and Yelena, I thought that those costumes look bad, but anyway, aside from that, let's talk about the movie. So, with the movie, again, I said that this is, to me personally, my favorite film since Endgame, excluding Deadpool, Wolverine, and No Way Home. I actually think this movie is better than Guardians Galaxy 3 for me. And for me, I was also kind of like tearing up at the end a little bit. At the third act, with Sentry and everything, which I feel I can cold-heartedly say, they nailed him. They nailed him in a way that he was OP as hell, but at the same time, he's so fragile of a character to a point where they play off of that. Like, listen, even when that scene where he literally was overpowering the team, he was holding back, right? So, like, it wasn't he was exerting his full strength at all, which shows that. And like, yes, be OP, and as hell in that scene. It's like, thank you. Like, at least we solidified. Yeah, this is not a you get one-hand combat. Like, sit down.
No. Like when Val was saying he's all the Avengers rolled into one, she's not joking. Yes, he was holding back because comic fans, this is somebody that can go toe to toe with World Breaker Hulk. Like, the Thunderbolts would have been torn to shreds if Bob wasn't holding back.
Yeah, but that also too, like, dude, like he was OP as hell that he bitch slapped the Winter Soldier with his own arm. That is right, he did. Like he took his own arm off and then slapped him. Like, no, come back. Mm-hmm. And then he looked, he has heat vision. He able to, use the force and all that stuff and fly, super strength. And then it's like, but then at the same time, he was only in it for like 2 seconds. Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Some people find it a negative, but I feel, to me, I think it's just set up, for that character. Because going into Avengers Doomsday, I think that I think they're replacing one particular character with him. After this film, I can kind of see, especially we haven't seen everything with Sentry. Again, we've only seen just the bare minimum when it comes to his power sets. Given what he might, and again, all the Thunderbolts are going to return in Doomsdays, including Sentry. So it's like, we'll see. Like, that's the opportunity to see Sentry go full ham. Yeah, and he is a member of the team, even though, and again, like with Bob, like that character, just again, it's like, think of a Homelander type character mixed with Moon Knight, in a way. But I think,
exactly.
But I think this film did what Moon Knight was trying to do, but better. In terms of not talking about the split personality, but just also in terms of how to, on the mental aspect, dealing with the trauma and everything. I think, yes, Moon Knight, they had some very strong episodes and stuff like that, but they kind of got lost when they went in the whole supernatural, element to it. But with here, they took one of the most obscure characters, but also most popular, overpowered characters in Marvel, but yet use his other half in a way that it has an emotional change to it, where it's like, no. This is a darker version, but we're gonna have this character represent something. And then, why is it that in the beginning of the first 5 minutes of this movie, when Yelena is just talking about, I feel empty inside, trying to feel, and I'm feeling, I'm watching her, and then also like trying to feel a void, and I was like,
yeah.
I was just like, it's like, but it's my thing. How smart was it? Is that they keep going back to it, and even that they have that moment with each other with Bobby and Lena, in the hangar, and it just keep bringing up like, yeah, you're trying to feel that, that void, right? And it's like the emptiness, and it's like,
it was very on the nose. It was very.
But no. I wasn't doing that in a sense of like, oh, that's ridiculous. I was just like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I know what you're trying to do, but I need to see the full movie to see how you pull this off. But like, and have freaking like the first, I felt the pacing of this movie was good. Again, we just jumped right into the action, like, jump right into the action. It was wasting no time. Like, you had small moments of like, Yelena going to see, Red Guardian and all that stuff, but it was just the meat of the situation. That scene is like, no, we're following her, but we got other stuff going on. Bucky, interacting with Val and stuff like that. And I felt there was a balance, really, like, out of the whole team. Like, for me, was Yelena, Bucky, and Red Guardian. Those to me were the highlights of that group. And, aside from Bob, but I'm just talking about main characters in this movie, right? But like, when we get into the hangar, then that's just when the movie kind of like, go full steam, where she's just trying to, get rid of all of her evidence and stuff. Which, how was that congressman in his banter with her? He's playing Perry White in Superman, but he just stupid. But it was fun. It was funny, stupid. Just like, read the packet. But
he gets sauce on the packet. But he reads it.
Yeah, I think it was kind of funny, like, where Bucky was trying to play. Well, he's being a congressman, but then he just got finished playing, Donald Trump in the, in The Apprentice, and it's just like, and then in a way he's kind of just coming off of like that. And I just thought it was just kind of funny, like, just the way he was talking, and just like, I just waited to pull
I remember Sebastian Stan, like, literally someone asked him, it's like, you literally came off The Apprentice and then went to this. And he's like, yes, I am 100% aware. And it's crazy, the tonal shift from that to this, but he found it welcoming. And it's like, I can 100% see that. I can 100% see finding the levity and like going from that to playing Congressman James Buchanan Barnes, known Winter Soldier, known ex-Hydra agent, and you're trying to act like you know what you're doing, and while you might in some instances, you truly don't in other instances.
Right, but again, at the same time, I felt, again, him in universe, him being kind of the most healed person out of that entire group, and that he represented in a way like, hey, listen, I've been where you are. Either you have a choice, either you let it catch up to you and and let it consume you, or you do something about it. Right now, for him, he's kind of like maybe 4 or 5 years or so, maybe 3 or 4 years away from being recovered, from in Wakanda, being rehabilitated, and then also like interactions with Sam and everything. So, but again, it shows a healthy balance of like, listen, everybody got their demons and their sense of loneliness, but the way to combat it is not doing it by yourself. Yes, you've done bad things, but yet you can, the way to overcome that is just do better and just do the right thing. And yet the relying on other people to make you a better person in a way. It's just the way you're surrounded by people that understand your experience, but at the same time, it's like, no, we got to do something about it. And they all have their hero moment to step up.
Right.
Like even like Ghost, like, you know, a throwaway Ant-Man villain. And actually, no, I thought she had really good personality in this movie that that was non-existent in the first Ant-Man. Completely non-existent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, it's like I feel like most of these characters within this film, just depending on what their last like appearance was, timeline-wise, within the MCU, have probably reached a point because it's like, for instance, Alexei. He was seen primarily as sort of like a jokey character, and even though we got a bit of his backstory in What If Season 3, he still was seen as that for a bit, but he had a lot of levity to it. He was desperately trying to act like the father figure to Yelena and just be there. He was the support, while Bucky was like the person who's like, yeah, I've been where you've been through. And then other characters, again, Ghost, her just trying to, you know, better herself. Same thing with freaking US Agent and us finding out that his wife and kid left him and he's just trying to do better. Yelena trying to deal with the trauma of everything she dealt with in the Red Room, the death of Natasha, and not knowing honestly what to do with her life. I love the message of this film a lot.
Yeah, and I feel, going with John Walker, I feel like we owe him an apology, and I mean by that of that character, because yes, the writer, like the character itself, is intended to be, oh, I don't like this guy, but at the same time, you can like this actor portraying this character. It's like, okay, yeah, he's an asshole, but like that's the character. More rugged, like in all these other Captain America, like offset, you know, people, like even Red Guardian himself, everyone going on him, US Agent, being like a junior varsity, but like, you're just a Russian, you know, Captain America, same thing. But also, just get out of the way. I'm gonna say this here right now, because it was one of our videos we did earlier when we first started this channel, where we reviewed Black Widow, and my thoughts on back then is the same as now. Trashmaster was a wasted character. It was absolutely a disgrace. And that whole concept should never been gender swap. Tony Masters, whatever. He could. No, this character got shot point blank in broad daylight.
Bruh, it's literally crazy. I remember when I watched this film, and again, when we recorded this, I just came back from seeing the film for the first time. I remember watching this film, and then she shows up, and she actually pulls off the mask, and it's the actress.
Hey, right, that threw me off. I didn't watch I went to see the press screening, and because I didn't see the premiere. But I said that the press screening, it was happening around the same time, so like we didn't know the actress. We saw her at the black carpet, whatever. But we didn't see, the actual face of the actress in the film. But then it popped up, and it was like, and then she speaks, and it was like, oh, okay. And then
right. Like literally, she just looks at Yelena, because of course they know each other. She's just like, I'm not here for you. And then the fight keeps happening until like she goes to go to someone, and then it's Ghost who faces back in and just shoots her straight in the head. Boom. She
point blank. And I was like, and then it was like, and then not only that, she got burnt twice. Like, she got exploded as a child.
She got shot. She got shot and was the only person that didn't survive the incineration.
Right, and stuff. It just, anyway, I'm just saying that Trashmaster was a wasted character. They honestly wasted potential. And honestly, that character could have been in Spider-Man movies, and but no. It's whatever. But the characters we have here were interesting. But going into that, Val. Okay, so Val, I asked the question like, who was the villain in this movie? But you say it was her, right? But as much as like she's playing like this type of snarky type of character and everything, but again, like hybrid Amanda Waller, hybrid Nick Fury, head of CIA, and then hybrid, bitch. Like, that's just it.
Like she's literally just another version of the government official that is tasked with putting together a team of superheroes or supervillains. Just one that really, and also just another one that really does not give a fuck how she gets it done. Like, she literally is trying to create a fucking god out of Sentry, and then it's just like, oh, I don't need these guys, just get rid of them. And literally, it's just like, where's your loyalty lie to her assistant Mel, who may or may not be another character, but that's to be seen in a future thing. Who knows? But anyway, besides the point, it's like she's just
who is she? Is she somebody?
In the comics, she's Songbird, who was a member of the comics Thunderbolts. At least that might be the version. Again, a lot of people said that most likely it's the same character. I guess maybe that means in the future, but that's to be seen. That's to be seen.
Yeah, and Luna Snow is actually celebrity in the MCU. We just haven't seen her, right? You know, you know. Anyway,
okay. Well, but besides that point, yeah, Valentina again. I understand maybe in like the past appearances outside of maybe Wakanda Forever for her, like you couldn't really get a grasp on her character. Here you understand, especially with just a little bit we get thanks to the Void, you know, looking into her past, that she is somebody that doesn't trust a lot and tries to control the situation as best as possible because of the fact that she lost her father due to trust. And so it's like, it's understandable, but you still hate the character.
Right. Other backstories, whatever, made sense. We didn't see much of Ghost. I mean, again, we've seen it. Ghost backstory.
Yeah, Ghost's backstory we don't need to see because we already saw it in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right, but going into with the not only with Ghost, but also again with John Walker, all these characters have very, you know, interesting dynamics with each other. But like in this movie, a lot like the story, most of it really kind of happened in the span of a day or so or two, because they had to basically hurry up to get what'd you say?
No, I'm just thinking, yeah, it's like 2 days, because again, it's like it's the day that, well, maybe technically 3, because we don't know the span of time in between Yelena getting the mission and then going into the vault. But at least from the vault up to the end of the film, it's like the end of the film, it's at least like a day or 2.
Yeah, but you know, after they get out of the vault and everything, and then trying to escape, but then how Red Guardian comes in was so organic, like, you know, to a point where it's like it's ridiculous, but like the humor of it was balanced off with the dramatic elements to a point where his timing actually made sense. Unlike in previous installments, it will come across as very annoying, right? And you know, and stupid. Like even like in Marvel's What If like episodes, right? Not much like Red Guardian and Bucky interaction, but still, I mean, it still was good. You know, you saw that dynamic between each other. But again, his humor, that was my biggest fear. It's like, okay, I know this character's supposed to be this type of thing, but then again, that moment at the end, him talking to Yelena at the, you know, I'm your dad. I'm like, hey, I thought you didn't want to see me and stuff. And but like, yeah, I thought he was a good balance in terms of how everything was going on, right? And then the stuff you saw in the trailer is like the way it was paced, where it's just like, okay, guys, I guess we're all teaming up, you know. And he's like, yes, right? But it was the timing of all the events that transpired was like, no, we really don't want to be a freaking team. And it's like, yep, we're gonna be a team. There we go. We're gonna go get Bob. We're gonna go get him and save, you know. And then you can see him that he was like, yes, but it's just like on the trailers you thought, oh, he just gonna just be something stupid. Like, no, that made sense. It made sense. But the writer, I forgot the name of the writers of this movie, but one of the writers, you know, they wrote Transformers 1, previous other like Marvel films and stuff like that. You know, basic entertainment films and stuff like that. But basically, you had the other writer. She wrote The Bear. She wrote episodes of of Beef from Netflix, which also the director was a part of, and everything. Completely different, you know, genres, but yet the balance and synergy of that was just, I thought was just was really entertaining. And even though again this is still a Marvel movie, but I think probably one of the one Marvel movies I've seen a long time that had a very unconventional third act. Because once the Sentry showed up, from then on, the movie just went a completely different direction when he becomes the Void, right? On a visual perspective, how he just taking people out and all that stuff, what he represents. And then when you were entering the Void as it expands, New York City and all that stuff, you're seeing all the different, eras of his trauma, but going back to filmmaking and using the set in the environment for your advantage of telling the story. We're seeing Yelena's origin, right? But we're also seeing Bob's origin, that he had an abusive father and all stuff. Hey, he was on meth, and even though he was in a chicken costume and all stuff. And in that moment, that was it's ridiculousness, whatever. But it's just like, again, the movement of the situations, like it all fell aligned to me personally. But also I want to know, what was your thoughts on like that third act from when we saw Sentry to where we got to all with the Void and everything, like from the emotional level, and then what he represented in terms of, like, listen, like, hey, you're gonna beat me up, that's what I want. It's like, no, you're not supposed to beat up your darker half. You're supposed to embrace him. All this person probably need is just a hug. Bob, the whole movie is like, yeah, things are probably better off without me and all that stuff. Now, it's like, if I watched this movie about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, at a point in my life, whatever, I would have been a wreck in the third act, right? But I had the same feeling when I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I was in tears, and it came out in a time of my life that was just needed, and then the movie just, it was perfect in my personal opinion. But with this, it represented just on an emotional level that story that I think we all need to hear. But anyway, what was your thoughts on that, on the third act?
No, that third act, again, like I said, it's like the message of this film is just, you don't need to, like, the best way to tackle your demons, whatever past you have, whatever dark it is to not face it alone. Again, these guys have tried, like, every single one of these characters have tried doing it on their own, and it hasn't necessarily worked out for them in the best case scenario. But the entire time, whether or not they wanted to be a team or not, every time that they needed each other or the call to action was there, like, they were there to lend a hand. And in the case of, like, Bob, they were there to basically lend their hand and say, hey, we got you. You don't need to face this by yourself. We're here for you in whatever way that you need. And that, because again, it's like, you're not beating the fucking Void in a fist fight. That's not happening. The way to beat the Void is just for him to not have power over you. And they did it in such a way that I was just like, wow.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like, because I wasn't even in the end of the scene of him, like, them embracing him, and then they walk out of it, and it's like, man, why am I tearing up like a little bit? Like, it just, and I'm just like, because just, I get the message, like, hey, listen, no. You don't want to beat the darkness in you. That's what you want, because this is what happens in the self-loathing. You start to, romanticize the point, and then what happens when you, attack that, that darkness instead of embracing it head on? It consumes you, which was happening to him, right? So yeah, visually, I just thought the sets and everything, that third act was on an emotional level with these C-level characters, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what I'm saying. With these C-level characters, and I'm just like, man, and it was like the first 2/3 you would think would have been like the Marvel Suicide Squad, but then it went a completely different direction. You actually have legit family members in this, like, you have people that are assassins, and like, yes, they have done bad things, but are realistic about it, not trying to be, act in a way that just seems like unrealistic, where I can't relate to this. A lot of people can relate to this in terms of any character that might speak for you.
Something we've been missing since the end of Phase 3, okay?
Yeah, and I feel like this film fixed a big problem that was happening with Marvel, and I'm like, what was missing? We have no Avengers team, but now we do.
Now we do.
But the fact of the matter is that you finally feel an essence of, oh, I have a complete film here. Yes, whatever is flawed, but at the same time, we're leading into something, and it's not I see a council of kings and this not going to go anywhere, right?
Right. No, this team is going to go somewhere. This whole team, including Bob, are going to be in Doomsday, and this end credits leads us into both Fantastic Four and Doomsday. It feels like it has importance. Like, even as a sort of standalone story, there is a lot of things that you will take away from this going into the rest of this year and next year.
Yeah, but aside from that, I give this film kind of like your 8 or 9 out of 10. I enjoyed this film. Yeah. I loved it. But we'll got more videos to be breaking down of Thunderbolts and more stuff from Marvel and other films and stuff coming very, very soon. But make sure go ahead.
Also, you want to know what's funny? The day that we unintentionally get a new Avengers team is the day we would have had King Dynasty.
Yeah. No, we were supposed to, like, time of this recording, Avengers King Dynasty would have came last week, but it's what it's a way. But aside from that, make sure you subscribe button, comment, like, and share. Let know your thoughts in the comment section down below on Thunderbolts, asterisks, and if you enjoyed it, what was your thoughts on the film? Love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. All right, guys, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.